What's up, galera? Tudo bem com vocês? I'm here again with Dustin. We're here in Buenos Aires.
Oi. Tudo bem?
Tudo bem?
Valeu.
But today we're not going to be talking about Portuguese or Spanish. We're going to be talking about English.
English. How to talk like an American.
Yeah, I know we're all Americans, but let's not get into semantics, you know. First of all, you're in Buenos Aires and you picked a specific accent. You picked the Porteño accent.
Exactly.
But I think one of the things if you want to sound like an American is you have to pick an accent. Do you agree?
I agree.
I have an accent. Can you hear it a little bit?
Yeah, I can definitely hear it.
It's a little
like
Jersey.
It's
Jersey. First tip to sound like American: don't say the word T. What city are you from?
Atlanta.
When it's spelled, it's like Atlanta.
Right.
But we don't say the T.
It's Atlanta.
And you have an international airport.
Exactly.
It's not international, it's international.
International.
We take out a lot of sounds, the T sounds, and we put a lot of D sounds. It's not water. Yeah.
Water.
So you have to pick an accent, and one of the best ways I think is to find someone that has that accent, very typical version of that accent. Just consume a lot of content from them. In Spanish, did you kind of find like someone to imitate? How did you get that? Because his accent is like, people think he's from here.
I mostly thought like, I associated the tone in Spanish to Italian Mario and Luigi, so I thought Mario and Luigi, but in Spanish.
Well, I think that's one thing that you bring up. Intonation is so important if you want to sound like an American. I think it's like a physical skill. You have to practice. Okay, next one is you have to learn the slang and the idiom. The slang and the idioms. I think that's very important because we use so much slang. If you don't understand, you're just gonna be lost.
You're gonna be very confused. Idioms can be extremely confusing, especially obviously in anyone's language. You have idioms all the time. A lot of times they cross over. You'll have the same idiom in Spanish and English, but there are other things that don't cross over.
Well, I just made a video about slang, so check that out. And idioms, I post a phrase of the day every day on Instagram. I think that's a good way to learn.
They're good. I like them.
Thank you. Are you learning Portuguese a little bit on my Instagram? Un pouquinho. Okay, so slang is very important. Idioms are very important, but at the same time, you have to learn to use the right register. You have to know who you're talking to. If you go into like the ghetto and you speak like, "Hello, I would like to play some basketball," they're gonna laugh at you.
You're gonna get laughed at, and then maybe you might be robbed.
Yeah, you might be robbed.
Anything else.
But if you go into the boardroom and say, "Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up, man? Anybody balling? I got next. Who's got next?
So
Who's got next?"
Yeah, I think it's very important to kind of be aware of your surroundings. I think people, they learn something from a textbook and they just try to bring that into any situation, but you have to be flexible.
This is good reinforcement for life in general. If you know your audience, you're gonna have a lot more pleasurable experience with everything it is.
Life coach Dustin Luke. Know your audience, okay? And then most of my videos are in Portuguese, so sometimes I watch my video in English. I'm like, what? I use a lot of well,
If you are a native Spanish speaker and you're trying to speak in English and you've come to a bump in the middle of your sentence and you don't know the next word or how to say it or whatever, Spanish speakers often tend to go and it's not it's
It's They also say sometimes chipu.
And although this is not natural for you to say it sounds so much better because there's nothing more like red flag to be like foreigner when someone says and you're like, oh, where are you from?
Yeah.
That's the next question that's gonna come after that for sure.
One thing that people always ask me about, we say though at the end of every sentence basically. I'm telling you though.
But it was good though.
It was good though. But I didn't want to though. It's just like I think it's almost like a nervous tick, like you just say just to make sure the other person's paying attention. A lot of times it doesn't actually have a meaning. It's just something we throw in there.
Yeah, I think it's also kind of like asking for a response in a sense.
It's like
no, I understand. But it was good though. I understand. Like someone was gonna respond that way or something. It's so powerful, throwing in a though. It can be very powerful. I mean, it can make a huge difference because...
You know what I'm saying though?
Know what I'm saying though? Yo.
I think one final thing is besides regional accent, there's very different subcultures. You have your hip hop culture, you have your bros, yo, what's up, bro? Then you have your hipsters, and they're very I don't know, I think I'll go listen to Arctic Fire today. Music is one thing you can kind of pick a subculture. So the more specific you get, I think the better your impersonation will be. Everyone has a different way of expressing. So I would say imitate, find exactly what you want to do and practice every day. Or the Mario and Luigi strategy. Anything else to add?
No, I mean, just understand that this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. You're gonna make these mistakes, and you have to understand that until you've made 500 mistakes, and if you've made 500 mistakes and you haven't advanced, then we have a problem. But just know that it's a marathon. Over time, you're gonna make fewer and fewer mistakes. You're gonna get it. You got this. Just keep going.
You got this though.
You got this though.
All right, that's all for today. Peace.
Boom.